Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at changing categories and migrating difficulties. Okay, so changing categories, or sorry, not changing, deleting categories, right? So we can just take a category and let's delete it, right? With a difficulty, if we delete a difficulty, some tricks are just going to end up without a difficulty. So we are not going to provide a delete option. We're going to provide a migrate option. So you might create a difficulty and then you say, all right, let's take all of these difficulties and migrate to this one, and then we close the previous one. Okay, so let's start with the categories. We're going to go into the controllers, category controller, open it up. Right at the bottom here, let's go ahead and we'll copy one of these guys, put it down here, use the HTTP delete thing. We will put a route with an ID parameter, and we'll use this ID parameter instead of the form. So int ID, we can say delete here. In categories, first our default, we can select it from an ID. If it's null, same thing. Otherwise, we don't need to change anything about it. We don't need to add it or anything like that. What we want to do, and actually we can do something along the lines of any. Let's put it here. If there aren't any, go ahead and delete it. Otherwise, target 0. So that will be the flag for deletion. And otherwise, the current is ID. So we want to migrate from current to nothing, essentially. And we can even remove the target because it doesn't exist, right? And if there aren't any, it's no content kind of thing. Next, how is this going to look in the version migration context? So in the version migration context, we have a bit where we check if the target is null. So in our case, it's going to be null. This is no longer going to be the case. We don't want to throw. However, we want to throw if the current is null. Okay, so let's just put this on one line here. Current not found, and otherwise let's perform some migration. So primarily how deletion is going to look like, the current is going to be deleted true, right? So we delete thing. Current state will be, let's say, outdated. We want to close any other moderation items because they're now performing on a on the deleted item. So if we delete it, we don't want to migrate unless we're not going to be implementing restoring mechanism. I think we have done so much already. If you want to implement that, you can do that in your own time. Other than that, let's take this bit here where we do a bunch of stuff with outdated moderation items, and pretty much, yeah, the same thing here, except instead of migrating them here, let's just go ahead and say delete it. Can remove this, and just like that. Another bit is we need to void all current relationships. So let's go ahead and on our entity migration context, we are going to say void relationships on an ID. Okay, this will break a couple of things. So actually, let's check migration context. It's not public. Let's make it public. Where did I put this? On the end here. We're going to keep this, what's it called, not implemented, because I'm not going to be implementing deletion of tricks because I think there is a lot of stuff around that will have to account, basically, that will have to come with it. If we delete a trick, we want to be able to restore it. We want to be able to revert versions and stuff like that. So for now, we're just avoiding that because I think implementing that, you should be able to do it on your own again, okay? So next error in the category migration context, again, make this public, implement the missing thing, and this is where we want to avoid the relationships. So for the ID, we can grab these relationships, we can put the ID in here, and then we can just go ahead and void them by saying false, right? So they're no longer active, and that's pretty much just going to break all the links, and the original category will be deleted as well. Let's go to the difficulty, and the same thing will be here. We're not going to implement it because we really don't want to delete difficulties. So that's fine. Void relationships at the end. In our version migration context right here, we want to go ahead and our entity migration context, we want to void relationships current ID, okay? And at the end, just return, because we don't want to be doing any of the other stuff, and this bit as well. We're not setting anything live, right? So if we are in the path for removing, that's what's going to happen, okay? Now let's go ahead and take care of the difficulty. So the difficulty in the difficulty controller, this is going to look a little bit different, because we're not going to be deleting, we're going to be implementing migrations, okay? So we're going to be migrating from one difficulty into another. So let's go ahead and say, put here ID and slash, so the first one is going to be current, and then we're going to say target. This is not going to be delete, this is going to be migrate. We're going to have current, and we're going to have target. Now we're just going to make sure that in our difficulties, we are going to count up the ones that are not deleted, and state equals live. So both of these have to be live. Let me drop this down to a new line, and new line even more so. Let me see. Yep. So where xid equals current or xid equals target, and this count should be more than, or rather equals 2. If it's not, then no content. Let's just grab this out into its own variable, and we'll say difficulty count. This is just checking that both of them are present, okay, with the following clause. So it should find 2 because of the 2 IDs, okay. If it's not 2 of them, we can't migrate, right? So one or the other is going to be missing. Other than that, we just go ahead and supply the current, and then we're gonna go wrong button, didn't need to press the control. In the beginning we'll do target, and then we're migrating to a target, right? So it should be pretty apparent. The thing that's left is again, we're going to be using state to determine what sort of change it is, okay? Now going to the moderation item controller, we will need to see the current in addition to the target to which we're changing, right? So this part here, what we will do is we will say select, let's put into an array target and current, okay? So an array of IDs. Now what we want to do is we just want to select many, so we flatten it out, okay? So just put an X, and it will basically, if you have an array, it will, I don't know how to, it will flatten out. That's the only way that I can describe it, right? So if you have a list of arrays, it will take an item from all of the nested arrays, and it will produce one array from it, right? So this is where we can to array. Some of these are going to be zeros, so this is where we just want to say where X is more than 0, okay? So we're grabbing all the targets and the currents. We are making sure they're just flat, and we're making sure that we're only gonna grab the things that exist, and then just to array this, and the rest is business as usual, okay? Now what we can do is on here, we can say current object and say current here, okay? Because it's going to be, the trick ID is really either going to be current or the target, right? One thing that we should take care of is for things that are going to be 0, stuff isn't going to be in the dictionary. So we say if it's more than 0, grab it, otherwise assign null, and same with the target. Okay, target more than 0, null. Now for all of these flat projections, so for the difficulty category and the trick, what we want to do is let's delete we'll change the description to actually just provide the state. We don't use the description there for anything, we just provide the state. I think the only time where we use the description is on the trick, so we'll keep it there. But the state, we're going to use that to determine what type of change it is, and it's quite important to have that both on the target and on the current. So let's go to create flat. Same thing as a create flat for the, what's it called, for the category, and make sure that we grab the state here as well. We then go to the create flat for tricks and keep the description here, but also just make sure that you grab the state here. Okay. The last couple of things, let's just trick controller at the bottom here where we have the delete action. Just remove it because we're not going to be doing any deletion. Validation for reason, we actually already done that, so let's go ahead and remove that to do. Cool. I think that's more or less it for the backend. Now on the front end, let's go ahead and handle a bunch of this stuff, right? First thing that we want to go is to the index for the moderations. And on the moderation item feed, this is where all of this stuff is going to be displayed. And where we have this ternary operation, this is where we want to convert these two. So this could be resolved on the back end, and I think I would prefer that to be the case through an enum. Although right now I am going to just go ahead and resolve this based on the state, okay, instead of making that part of the database record. Okay. This describes a change type, so what kind of change are we performing? So in the methods, let's go ahead and say change type, and we will say moderation item in here, and then we'll just say change type color, and because I'm in England I say color. Okay, let's say grab this bit here, we will put it in the change type, so return the thing, and we're still going to do this through ternary operators. What we're going to do first is, let's go ahead and just start from the very beginning. So is our target object null, or rather, sorry, current object. So current object is null. That means it's a new record. Only the target will be present. So here we can say new. Otherwise, we should say that mod item target object equals null. That means we have a current object, but we don't have a target object. That means that we want to delete. All right. Next clause is if we both have the current object and the target object, is the target object live? Because if it is, that means we have two live objects, because the current should be always live. The target will either be live or staged. So if it is live, it's a migration. Okay, so mod item target object state equals version state. We'll say live. That means migration, and otherwise it's a change. Okay, put that there. We can go ahead, copy this, put this here. And for some of the colors, we can just go ahead and grab it. What do we have? Let's just cut this. We'll put it down there and we'll just extract some of this stuff. So green text, this was for new. Orange text, I think it is safe to say that we don't, well, I'd say, let's be explicit. It will be both, it will be the same for both of these, but let's just say that we're being explicit. That's all we're doing. Format this a little bit. Green text, forgot the thing, and on here we will say red text, right? So if we're deleting, it's going to be red, otherwise it's green, right? So change type, let's go ahead and put it here. Where were we? Right there. Change type, put the mod item in there, and then change type color, again put the mod item in there, and that should generate the appropriate colors, right? And appropriate text as well. Another thing is, now what could happen is we could end up with not having a target object. So let's say if we have a mod item current object, let's go ahead and display the current object. And I think it actually makes more sense, because if we have a current object and we are changing it or migrating it to, if we'll have a new object, there will not be a current, there will only be a target. In that case, display the target. Else, say target object. There we go. That was a little bit hard. Yeah, I think that is it for this part. So when we will be getting a list of items, if we go into moderation, if I refresh, just make sure that I'm signed in. I'm not, then I'm not. Password. So we don't actually have any logic for binning or migrating. We'll change that, but let's go ahead and implement some of that. So in our moderation category overview, let's put us all in a div. So div right there at the top, just get rid of the space. We'll put a v dialog where we can bind a value of selected category. All right, so we're going to select a category that we want to delete. For this, we will need some data. Okay. Selected category, we'll start with null. And when we click delete, we will set the category. Okay, and that should show up. Put a little width, like 3000 persistent. And we can put a v card in here. V card title. I will say delete selected category dot name question mark, do you want to? And then v card actions, but v button, right? We'll say no, yes, highlight the no, so primary. On click, we will say selected category null, so we'll close it. And on yes, we will say on click confirm delete. Okay, that's going to be the function that we're going to trigger. So just put it somewhere here. And I think just let it chill there. The spacer. Am I missing anything else on here? I don't think so. So when we confirm delete, let's go to this Nuxtjs delete. Where do we go? /API/categories / just this dot selected category .id. And I think that's it. I'm not posting anything. Finally, when this all blows over, this selected category, just set it to null. I think maybe never mind. Let's just do it like this. And also let's add a then, where we can say this Nuxt. What was it? Emit events. Yep, we had events and content update. Just make sure that we import this bit, and there we go. So we delete it, we refresh stuff, and this X, what is this? We don't need that. On click, we confirm the delete. This is highlighted. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like on moderation items. So categories, we cannot read property name of null. So on the V card right here, VF selected category. So if we have it, display the thing, right? So give this a refresh. Categories. Let's go ahead and delete the kick. Delete kick. Yes. So that's not going to delete it straight away. We're just going to get a moderation item. So if we do go to the moderation item and we approve it, notice the arrow. We should really remove it. But here we go, right? So we have deleted a category, and anything that was a kick is no longer a kick. So I don't know if we can find trick 0. There we go, right? So there's nothing there. I don't know, is at least one category required when we create a trick? If it's like no categories, that's a little bit bad, but whatever. I think it's all right. We'll survive here, right? That's that on the mod item. Obviously, I think this happens all the time. If before we go to the mod item, you gotta build your project, otherwise you get errors, right? If you build your project before going to the moderation item, it's a short episode, okay? And we like those. Anyway, the arrow, right? So we just want to make sure we got both current and target, and that's the only time that we display the arrow, okay? So that was the deletion of categories. Let's go ahead and look into the migration of difficulties. Let's do moderation difficulty overview. And let's also get our category in here. We'll just copy the v dialog. Let's just have the div. Oh, that's not a div. I know what a div looks like. Yeah, that's fine. Just sliding around here. Just press Alt for no reason. Selected category. Let's just grab the category part and rename it to difficulty. Okay. We will say data here. And this will need to have a selected difficulty null and the target 0. Okay. Migrate. Okay, and this is where we're gonna kick off the migration. So this is going to be a little bit different here. We will so we'll say migrate difficulty question mark v text field, or no select, right? So we want to select, let's grab the select from the trick steps. So there it is, actually from rehearsal, still there. So the reason I have a what's it called? Sorry, v card text closing tag. There we go. And put the v text in here. So the reason for the select is if we're migrating, we need to migrate to something. So have a select box, right? V model, we'll say target, validation, no validation rules. The one thing that I'm going to say is I want to filter out the things with the ID that do not equal selected difficulty ID. I know you can extract this to a computer property if you want to. I'm just gonna leave it as it is, as is. So migrate. Let's just go ahead and put it there. So return this Nuxtjs. This will be put API difficulties. We should have some kind of validation on the yes, so disabled if a target equals 0. Let's just have that. And the things that we want to supply is this selected difficulty ID slash this dot target, body will be null, and the other bits where we reset, I think it's going to be the same thing, more or less. For the reset, you can put this in an init property and stuff like that and do the reset properly. We are going to do a ghetto one, right? So do that, and this dot target equals 0. Okay. The rest of this looks fine. Okay, so yeah, so one thing is actually select the difficulty here. Difficulty, and there it is. Okay, one thing with the icon, I think it was swap horizontal, from, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, so just, you know, styling work, just make it look how you want it. Materialdesignicons.com. Let's see, migrate easy, medium or hard. Let's go migrate all the hard ones. Again, migration, perfect. Outdated, that was a little bit unexpected. Let me give this a refresh. Difficulties, medium. I'm pretty sure we, what's it called? What are we doing here? Put difficulty, difficulty controller. And when we migrate, we go into difficulties and type okay. So we just want to I didn't expect this sort of situation to pop up. Oh, and another thing, right? Actually, let's go and fix it while the backend refreshes. So the problem is, again, this popped up during testing and creeped up during testing. If I can explain the problem so you can understand what's going to happen. Basically, what we do is we get the relationships for our outdated, live, and staged tricks, trick difficulties, and we hard activate all of them. The outdated ones need to stay deactivated, and the outdated ones need to stay deactivated as well. We can think about not migrating the outdated ones, but I think for now it's just safe to say that basically whatever active status we had, let's go ahead and keep it. After it, let's go, oh, definitely don't want to do that. After it, let's go ahead and set it to false. We only want to set it to false if, let's go ahead and include the trick, because what we want to do is we want to check if the relationship trick is staged. Let's just go ahead and context, remove it, right? So what we're going to do is if a difficulty that we were migrating was pointing to a stage trick, just switch it, because I mean it's staged at that point, so it's all right to just resolve that migration automatically, basically. If you think about it in terms of Git, how some migrations get resolved automatically, this is us basically holding a hand, right? And otherwise, let's go ahead and set active to false. Another thing to consider is on the, I had it right there, on the trick view models, what we will have is we'll have the difficulty here. So if you think about the current difficulty pointing to easy, we migrate to hard, and then there's going to be a new difficulty branch. At the moment, we just select the first one. So just to avoid the process of finding the error again, because there is going to be one when we go to a migration that has the current one that has a pointer to the difficulty of which has been migrated. That means that current one is going to have two difficulties, and this is going to sometimes select the wrong one. So what we want to do is we want to say order by descending and just set active. So if there is an active one, it will grab that. Otherwise, it will grab the first inactive one. And generally, that shouldn't cause any problems unless maybe sometime in the future a trick should never have deactivated difficulties. And stage 1 should only ever have one deactivated difficulty because of the current migration, right? So that is that. So let's go ahead and test this out, right? So on the front end, let's give this a refresh. Let's go to backwards roll. We'll edit this because this is on the easy one. Edited. Let's give this one of these. Moderation, there is the change, right? So if we go to difficulties, easy, and we migrate this to hard. So there's our two migrations. They should both work. So both of them pointing to easy. We go ahead and approve the easy one. Okay. So now we only have hard, and hard is only pointing to the current backwards roll. We go to the moderation, and this one you can see it is edited. Previously the crash would happen here because we're not loading in memory the previous version, the easy version, because that's deactivated now. And this would be pointing to easy. So that was the fix in the view model. Basically, yeah, it's now pointing to hard and it's working. And now we can go and approve that. See if that works. Come back here where we had backwards roll. And there it is, right? Pointing to hard. And all of that is working. Cool. I'm happy. So episode on the shorter spectrum. Thank you very much for watching. As always, any questions, leave them in the comment section. Ask them on my Discord server, leave a like, subscribe, join up for the stream Wednesdays and Sundays, 6 o'clock London time. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode.